Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today's guest is Siggy Clavian, and he's a founder of Equilibrium Labs and the Liver Clinic. Siggy, welcome to the show.
Hi, happy to be here.
All right, Siggy. So a lot to talk about here today. I'm excited to get into, first off, the fatty liver epidemic. I know that you were referred to us from Dominique, and she was telling me a little bit about your product, so Deliverance, and also some of your work. And I was like, wow, we got to have Siggy on the show. So great to have you here. And I guess just to start this off, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So, Siggy, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, executives, and experts. That's what we do. Siggy, what mission matters to you?
Our main mission right now is to advance the future of liver health. And in doing so, we improve happiness and health and save lives and create awareness.
It's great. Love to bring mission-based individuals on the line to share why they do what they do and really how they're making a difference with it. So where did all this start for you? Like even obviously before founding the liver clinic and all this, when did you get interested in health, specifically liver health? Like how did that start?
So I've been involved in nutraceutical and phytomedicine for about 27 years. I actually dropped out of university to go do that after losing a loved one. And along the way, about 2003, I had lost my mentor actually to liver cancer, and my godfather died of cirrhosis. So that really put me on a mission to dig deeper and try to see how we could advance the future of liver health, save lives, prevent people from sickness. And along the way, we really, you determine that most people don't even know what their liver does or where it is. So lack of awareness is probably one of the biggest drivers.
And so when did you decide that this was going to be like not just something that you pursued to an interest, but something that was going to be like an entrepreneurial venture that was going to take up a lot of your time? A lot of entrepreneurs that listen to this, and we all have, ideas and things that draw us in different directions. But how did you know this was going to be the one that was going to be kind of that all-encompassing idea and focus?
As I started the mission in 2003, I think the kind of one of those really epiphanal moments was actually I was in Thailand, and that was in 2007. I was actually in the ocean. I had just come off of a meditation, and I really saw that. And it just has grown since then. And the more that I peel back the onion of liver health and liver disease, and that, it's up 400% in the last 50 years, and it's growing exponentially. It's outpacing modern medicine. It just reinforced that, and it has become it's my life's work. It'll be my legacy work. And even if you start on a small scale, like the Dalai Lama, lovely said, if you save one life, you save the world. And so we kind of, in a nice way, in a funny way, is that, we just try to save the world one liver at a time. And I've kind of adopted that. And
so let's go a little bit further into today's topic. So first off, fatty liver epidemic. I don't want to assume that I'm just starting to learn about this because Dominique's been having some conversations with me, and hence, again, you coming on the show. So first off, maybe let's just talk high level about the fatty liver epidemic. For those that don't know, including myself, I want to go deeper in my knowledge. What's going on?
So liver disease, if you look at like a WHO statistic or any big statistics of disease, in the last 50 years, most of them have pretty much flatlined, or we've started to push them down. Liver disease is up 400%. So it looks like an outlier if you're looking at a statistical graph. And what the biggest drivers for that is, it's starting with fatty liver, and then fatty liver is leading to fatty liver disease. It's leading to liver cancer. It's leading to this condition called NASH, which is kind of newly discovered. And that is also the bedrock for metabolic diseases and type 2 diabetes. So it's driving type 2 diabetes, it's driving metabolic disease, which in turn, the two biggest causes of cardiovascular disease are metabolic disease and type 2 diabetes. So fatty liver is driving all these health problems, and it's starting, basically in the liver.
What are some of the causes?
Well, one other point just to make up to give you an idea. Yeah. In the United States and Europe, 38%, and this is Western world, this is India, this is Australia, 35 to 38% of the adult population now has fatty liver. So that means we're talking about 2 billion people globally. It's 25% of the global average. So when I say epidemic, I mean, we're talking about billions of people. These are not my stats. These are well-known, respected stats that anybody could look up, and it's accelerating. The main causes, there's several causes. I think the biggest driver, and I think most doctors and scientists would agree, is ultra-processed foods. You know, high fructose corn syrup, preservatives, all of those things. You know, 2/3 of those numbers I just gave you of liver disease are non-alcoholic. So, you know, India, 1 in 3 people have it. So it's cheap calories. When you introduce 100,000 synthetic chemical compounds into the human diet over 100 years, you're going to have a lot of problems. And so it's processed foods, high fructose corn syrups, junk food, preservative food. That's probably the biggest driver. Second driver is going to be, you know, certain pharmaceutical damages. Sedentary lifestyle is obviously a big one. And then you've got things like alcohol. And then you also have a genetic predispositions where certain ethnicities will get liver much faster than other ones, and then if you compound that with like the Indian population, you compound subcontinental Asia with cheap calories and, you know, cheap food and processed food, it's like a double on a double.
And so what are some of the results of this? So so taking it a little bit further, so this is definitely an epidemic, obviously the amount, but what are the causes? Like, what are the health effects from having a fatty liver? What happens next when you have this?
Well, so liver disease, they say, is generally a silent killer because you don't really know you have it till it gets pretty severe. But the biggest health drive, I mean, the first symptoms that most people have when you've got fatty liver disease will be brain fog, bad sleep, weight gain. You know, they say fatty liver equals fatty waist. But as, you know, those start to drive other things. You get too much liver fat, you get what's called NASH, and that's basically scarring of the liver. And then from scarring of the liver, you get too much, you either get cirrhosis, which can be fatal. You can get liver cancer, right? Could be fatal. And also fatty liver, as I said, is the main driver of type 2 diabetes, right? Look how bad type 2 diabetes is around the world. 65% of type 2 diabetics have fatty liver disease. 90% of people that are obese have fatty liver. It affects 2/3 men, 1/3 women. So it does affect men more than women, for sure.
What are some of the things that people can do? Is this reversible? Like, can this be treated?
I always tell this to our patients and customers or anybody I'm speaking to. The good news or the silver lining, I think, you know, because you always have to have hope. Hope's the most important, and hope and that mindset will help cure illness more than anything. That's like the first thing, is get people that. And type 2 diabetes and fatty liver disease are both reversible, which can be fixed. So that's the fantastic thing. And in turn, by fixing those, you also help diminish or mitigate the chances of the other diseases that come on the back end of those. So it's a root cause problem, and it's a root cause that's fixable. Globally right now, what's acknowledged is there's no known cure for fatty liver disease except for radical dietary and lifestyle change. That being said, the reason we spent 18 years and millions of pounds and scientists and labs all over the world was creating Deliverance. And Deliverance's main mission is to reduce fatty liver and also improve liver health. And as your liver health improves, it helps you not gain, and it helps process and not hold on as much liver fat, because you've got to get out of this vicious cycle.
I had the opportunity to use Deliverance and to take that the other day and maybe go a little bit further into the product, because I found it super interesting. Like, let's go further into the product itself.
So the product was what it's also known as a phytomedicine. So it's a plant-based nutraceutical. And what we did is we took traditional herbal medicine recipes, because in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, and Korean, you've got 5,000 years of Kapia. You've got all this great wisdom and different treatments and medicines that work. And we took that with also a Chinese medicine that was developed for hepatitis. And this is about 2012, so this is 12 years ago. And then we brought in cutting-edge Western medical technology. So nanotechnology, the best of Western medical technology of how it affects absorption, bioavailability, which molecules are working on what, combining all that together for the modern formula. And the modern formula is multifaceted and it's holistic, just like the body's holistic, or like a great symphony, If you listen to a great symphony, it's not necessarily the cello or the bass or the wind instruments or the violin. It's everything working together in congruence and in a synergistic way, and that's how the human body works. So the formulation was taking that into account, and we're affecting everything so that it works synergistically. Spleen, bile, the kidneys, blood flow, oxygenation in the blood, metabolism, neurotransmission, liver enzymatic reaction, metabolizing liver fat. So it's all those things combined. That's why it took so long to develop it. And because it's all natural, it's got a very high efficacy rate or no known side effects or adverse reactions. And it starts working right away. It's a 22 milliliter liquid shot because, it's more expensive to do it that way, but it's the better way to do it, because when you keep something in its more or natural state, such as the liquids, the extractions, you get a purer formula and a more effective one. And this is a little drink that you take it once a day or twice a day, depending on your need. Some people just take it as a one-off, like, oh, I want some mental clarity, or I just had a really fatty meal. So you can take it that, but it's just a little shot, and you follow it with a lovely glass of water, and that's it.
Tell me about your plans for kind of rolling this out, further in the United States and getting the word out about Deliverance overall. Like, what are your plans to grow the company?
So one of the things that we realized is that with all these people with liver disease and fatty liver running around, 98, 99% of people don't know they have it. So, there's a great Hindu saying, which I love, which is, how do you wake somebody up that doesn't know they're asleep? And one of the reasons is when you go for your yearly physical and you get your blood test, they test your kidneys, they test your liver, they test your cholesterol, etc. A fatty liver does not show up on a blood test. The only thing that would show up is you start to get things like your cholesterol starts to get worse, or your H1C, which is your blood sugars, right? Those start to get out of whack. So there's smoke, but they don't necessarily know there's a fire, and they don't know where the fire is. So in our clinical studies and studies that we were doing, we realized that the easiest and quickest way to help diagnose or screen people to see if they've got fatty liver is a technology called FibroScan. And it's a French technology that's been around for 2 years. All the top universities and hospitals in the world use it, but they were using it for people that are already sick. What we've done is we've opened a new entity arm called the Liver Clinic. So at the Liver Clinic, which we partner with existing clinics. So there's 8 in the UK right now. We've already opened up 2 in Orange County in California, and our goal is to open up, hundreds of thousands of them. We partner with existing clinics. We teach them about the liver, and then we put in this super easy FibroScan technology, but it is the gold standard. So you cruise in, you fill out some forms, you lay down, you pull your shirt up, and we scan your liver. It takes about 10 minutes, and we can tell immediately, do you have any scarring? Is your liver soft or is it stiff? And do you have fatty liver, and how much fat do you have down to the percentage? And then we've got a baseline so we know where to work from. You then take Deliverance. We talk to our nutritionist. We give you some great advice and the product if you want. And then we test you again at 3 months or 6 months so you actually see the progress. And then after that, you should come once a year to get your liver scan just to see where you're at and just to keep part of on top of it, because you can catch it if you look at it, if you're looking for it. So we're taking that amazing technology out of back rooms of hepatology and universities and putting it right up front to the consumer, right? So consumer-led diagnostics, not waiting till you're sick. The future of medicine globally is preventative medicine, not reactive, and doing specific bespoke medicine for the patient, not just throwing one thing at a huge problem.
What kind of response have you gotten from the medical community, or just in general? What kind of response have you gotten from both the product and just from the you out here spreading the word? How's that been?
Well, we just really started looking at it in the U.S., and I can say that if you take people that are more open-minded, so biohackers, nutritionists, naturopathic doctors, medical doctors that are more open to new treatments, it's been incredibly positive. And I would say it's probably akin to a breath of fresh air, because a lot of them didn't understand the gravity of the situation. They know there's been an issue. There's no solution, and they're actually relieved that there's something that is going to be help, not only relieving and alleviating the problem, but also identifying it and making people aware. And our concept of also making the liver famous to the general public so they know what it is. The medical community, I think it depends. If you've got somebody that's super old school and closed-minded, they're not really open to it yet. But I think that's a generality across the medical world,
Yeah.
but that is shifting, and they're looking at more alternative treatments or looking at other ways to do it. So overall, I would say it's very positive and received well. There's a huge public need for it.
Yeah. Why do you think we don't hear more about this, like in the media in general? And I just mean about fatty liver in general. Why do you think we don't hear more about that?
You know, the liver is this master organ. It's considered a master organ. It has 1,000 functions, 500 of which are vital.
Yeah.
It's the only organ in the human body that fully regenerates. So let's say if you needed a liver transplant, we could do what's called a live liver transplant. They would take a third of my liver off. We would put that third back into you, and that will grow to a fully double-lobed organ, and mine will grow back. Like, it's this incredible organ. It's called the general of the body in Chinese medicine. But it's kind of, to be kind of on the joking side, it's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of organs in the West. Most people don't really, it doesn't get enough attention. They take it for granted. They don't really think about it because it's in the background doing all of this amazing work. I mean, you want to talk about functions, like it's controlling your vitamins, your proteins. Everything happens when you eat, right? When you eat something, the liver's the one that's in charge of getting out the vitamins, getting the proteins.
The liver's working hard, Siggy. The liver's working hard.
It's your immune system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's this thing that nobody really thinks about, but it is coming. People are getting aware to it. You know, in the UK, it costs the NHS £17 billion a year just the fatty liver disease. It's the number 3 killer in the UK, I think probably the US, and it'll be number 1 by 2035. So it's gotten too big where they have to start paying attention to it. So it takes things like you putting me on the show, you telling your friends, me telling my friends. The world is waking up to it and then looking at it. I don't really know why, other than it's just not been given the attention or the love that it needs or deserves.
Yeah. Well, making me feel all good about my liver right now. I'm like, all right, here we go, liver. I'm sorry I haven't thanked you lately for all the hard work you're doing. The general, I like that. This is good. Well, Siggy, I just have to say I appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about this so that we can get the word out about what's going on about fatty liver. And of course, I want to talk about deliverance and definitely give you the opportunity to talk about that as well. So if somebody is interested in learning more and following the journey here in this story, so whether it's the liver clinic, Equilibrium Labs, deliverance, like how do people connect? How do people connect and follow the brand?
The best way is to go to loveyourliver.com, kind of a term, and I think about loving your liver. So we created that. We're able to get that as our handle. So loveyourliver.com is a great way, and that'll give you all kinds of information. You can order the products. We also created a special discount code for any of your listeners that want to. It's Mission Matters, capital M for Mission, capital M for Matters. That'll give them a 10% discount. And send us an email. We're happy to do a consultation. If we're in your area, you can get a scan done. Just if you're curious, we can help in any way, or you have a loved one, let us know, and we'll do our best to help.
Amazing. Well, appreciate that. And for everybody listening, we'll definitely put the website in the show notes so you can just click on the links and head right on over and check it out. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with us, and you have not hit that subscribe button yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. This is a daily show each and every day. We're bringing you new entrepreneurs, new ideas, new thought leaders, and we don't want you to miss a thing. So definitely hit that subscribe button. And Siggy, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Absolutely.